Hi guys, thank you so much for coming back to my channel or for checking it out for the first time. Welcome back. It is Thursday, September the 1st, and I actually had planned to make some content for you guys this past weekend, but I was a little bit busy celebrating my 50th birthday. That's right, 50. But you know what the amazing thing is? I have never ever felt better in my life, truly. So that's a combination of things. When I was a kid, I probably felt okay for the most part. But of course, I didn't know God then. And there was a long time where I got to know God, but I didn't realize I was slowly putting poison into my body. And there was a lot of things that I wasn't learning how to deal with, like my bulimia, and my food addictions and my other issues, my anxiety, my depression. That didn't come till much later. So, they say that we can always look back at life, and of course, hindsight is always 2020. But looking back now at age 50, I'm in a place where I feel incredible with all parts of my life, not just the physical, but of course the emotional and the spiritual. Um, in spite of, say at 21, when I became a Christian, there was a lot of good there. Getting to know God, learning how to pray and talk to Him and all that kind of thing. And then, of course, eventually I got older. I finished university. I got married. We had, my husband and I had two kids who are now grown. They're not kids, they are young adult men, who are 19, and our older one is going to be 22 next month. But I was busy being spoiled all weekend by my incredible husband. And, there's certain things I think I've come to understand now at 50 that I don't say it with anger or frustration, because I know that everything I went through in my life has allowed me to come to this point. And I couldn't be here now if I hadn't been through everything else. So I can't be angry at not knowing the sugars and the processed foods were so poisonous. Like, I knew they weren't good for me. I knew that if I ate cake and cookies and sugary, pumpkin spice lattes loaded with whipped cream, if I ate those all the time, that yeah, I was probably going to put weight on. I knew that, right? What I didn't understand was that it was a big reason for the cause of my inflammation. I didn't understand that it was triggering off my irritable bowel syndrome. I didn't realize that it was affecting my leaky gut, making it worse, that it was making my constipation worse, that it was making all my food sensitivities worse, eating things that triggered me, that just eating loads and loads of fruits and vegetables and high fiber and grain, which there are people out there who can eat those things and they probably do just fine, because they live in a part of the world where they've not had access to meat easily. They're quite poor, so they have to eat to not starve, and therefore there's plants for that purpose. That's a whole other video about how we in the first world need to learn to share our meats, our animal products with other people, so that they can have the nourishment that provides, because that is part of God's plan as well. Don't believe me? Read through Genesis chapter 1. He made the animals to be food. And if you still don't believe me, as a believer, as a person of faith, read through chapter 9 of Genesis, where Noah is being addressed, and he's being reminded that he has not only the livestock animals, but also the wild animals to be food for him and his family, and obviously for the other humans that already existed, right? So animal products, animal meats and their fats, that provide us with our essential fatty amino acids that we do not produce on our own, are absolutely all part of God's plan, as well as, perhaps for some people, some fruits, and perhaps some vegetables like tubers, root vegetables. Beans, lentils, pulses, all those things, I would say avoid, because if you're going to eat them, you really do have to, essentially, they need to be pickled before they can be eaten, or they're just going to cause havoc with your insides. And even our ancestors figured that out. They would soak pulses and beans, grains, like quinoa, etc. They would soak those things for days or weeks before eating them, because they knew to eat them straight was deadly, because they do have anti-nutrients, they do have oxalates, they have toxins in them, that if they're not prepared properly will kill us. As some poor guy got to be the volunteer, figured that out, right? But I digress. What I wanted to share was what an incredible birthday weekend I got to have. So my birthday was officially August 29th, which is actually the same date as my mother-in-law, which is kind of funny. But so my husband has no excuse to forget either birthday. Not that he has, but, just saying. So Saturday the 27th, we had a couple over that we're friends with. They came over, we had a barbecue. My husband put ribeyes on the barbecue for us, and our friend's partner is vegetarian, so we got her some veggie burgers, and that's fine. That's where she's at. Not a problem. Cool. She got to eat what she enjoyed, and I got to have the most amazing 10-ounce ribeye off the barbecue. Beautiful. Nothing on it other than I rubbed a little bit of rock salt on it just before he put it on the grill of the barbecue. It was delicious. And then Sunday, my husband and I caught the train and went from where we are in Colchester to Stratford. All I knew was we were going to Stratford. That was it. To bring something nice to wear for dinner and comfortable clothes otherwise. And we were staying the night. That was all I knew. So imagine my surprise when we got to the train station and we got a cab and we went all the way to this special venue, and he had gotten tickets to take me to ABBA Voyage. And this is like an actual official merchandise shirt. See, it's got ABBA on it, which I love. It's like got a vintage look, right? And what it is I don't know exactly, but basically this was a project that they all agreed on. They wanted people to be able to enjoy their music, but they weren't at a place where they were wanting to perform live themselves anymore. So they had this whole building, this whole venue was built specifically for ABBA Voyage. And it was funded by, I think, all of the members. Benny, the keyboardist, was the brains behind it. But what it is it's a mix of live band and backup singers, as well as video clips of them, as well as a mix of animation, lighting, special effects, like you think you're sitting in like a Star Wars or a space movie at times, along with holograms of them when they were younger performing, and then video footage of them from the Eurovision competition when they did Waterloo, when they won, and then you see a hologram of the four of them as they look now at the end when they come out, and it's so great. Like it's almost impossible to tell when's a hologram, when's real. And it was just amazing. So they went through a whole bunch of their classics, Mamma Mia, and of course Waterloo, Dancing Queen, Gimme Gimme Gimme, and loads of others. And they had this cool animation story in the background with their music to it, as well as, like I said, live performances and performances where you'd swear it's live, but it's a hologram because it's them when they're younger. And it was fantastic. I love ABBA. That was a total surprise, and of course I got the shirt. And he likes them too, so it was great. So we were there for an afternoon performance, and it was incredible. And then we got a cab, and we quickly ended up at the hotel where we were going to be for the night. And it was a quick change. And I didn't know where we were going to be going for dinner. All I had asked for was somewhere where I could get a nice steak. That's it. That's all I asked for. And he surprised me with this beautiful necklace. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's got my birthstone in it. So that was a surprise. And he said, right, wear something nice for dinner, but pack a change of clothes for right after. We were going to pull like a phone booth Superman type of thing. And I was surprised when we pulled up to this really big building. I couldn't see much because I was in my wheelchair and couldn't see up to the top, only to think, we must be near the Shard by now. Clueless. And of course, that is exactly where we had dinner. He booked us a table in Obelix, which is one of their restaurants on the 32nd floor. It's on the east side. And we were at a table right at the window. So we had a view overlooking the east of London. You could see London Bridge, and you could see the Tower of London and the Thames and just everything. And it was spectacular. And I ended up, I got this amazing jumbo prawn cocktail, and I think he had calamari. So it was a set menu, but really good choices. And I had ordered the Wagyu beef burger because I wanted to try it. But when I got it, I did not know that the chef had spiced it, and I can't do spice. Luckily, they were like, no, that's okay. What would you rather have? And because he had gotten the flat iron steak and I had had a little bit, I asked for that instead, which they were super accommodating, swapped it out for me, and it was, delicious. It was amazing. And I did have, instead of just my regular black coffee, I did splurge for my 50th, and I did have a couple of very small cappuccinos. And that was great. And what I was told was that there would be some sort of a dessert platter that arrived. And my thought was, well, I hope it's a cheese board, because I can at least do cheese. But if it's a dessert, I don't want it. I haven't had sugar in 2 years. And of course, it wasn't a cheese board. And I'm sharing this because I realized I had to learn and be flexible in this way. What I mean is this. When it came out, and the waiter sang happy birthday, and so did my husband, just very quietly, because it was not like a roadhouse or a pub type of place. It was relaxed, but it was a very discreet happy birthday song. And what it was on the plate, the chef had written in strawberry coulis, happy birthday. And it came with a very small, probably that size, okay? From my fingertips to my palm, and about that narrow, if that gives you an idea, just a thin slice of like this chocolatey mousse dessert. And then a very, very tiny slice, like a triangle like that, of New York cheesecake. And then 2 tiny, literally like this size, scoops of gelato, all homemade. And I was like, okay, it's my 50th birthday. I've been so good for 2 years. I'm going to have just a small taste. Part of me was like, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to, make them think I didn't appreciate the effort. And so part of me was feeling guilty. But part of me was like, let me just see how I do. Let me see if I can have just a small taste and leave it at that. And that's when I realized that, I'm not fully healed. And I can't have just a small spoonful. Now, my husband had most of the cheesecake, which is good. I had a small taste. Too much dairy. This mousse thing, however, I ate most of. And my husband would later comment, he's like, yeah, you went at it like a Coke addict would go, finding Coke, right? Or like a crack addict might be if they found like a bit of crack laying on the floor. And I was just like, wow. And it didn't upset, like I wasn't hurt. I was like, yeah, it's been 2 years. And they called it caramel chocolate bomb surprise. And it was delicious. I can't lie. I'm not going to say it was horrible. It wasn't. It was delicious. I ate most of it. I left some for my husband, but I ate most of it and a bit of the gelato. And what I came to realize was that even though it didn't affect me right away, that bomb went off in my system later that night. And it just reminded me that yeah, sugar, even on a rare occasion, for me right now, I can't do. I can't. And I felt guilty. I was wrestling. Like, oh my gosh, I've disappointed God. I've let down everyone else. I've disappointed myself. How could I eat this? Meanwhile, my husband's like, babe, it was your 50th birthday and you've had zero sugar for 2 years. Give yourself a break. And I realized, okay, I have to give myself a break. Should I have had it? No, of course not. But on the same hand, I haven't had it in 2 years. I thought maybe I'd be okay with a small taste. Didn't realize how addictive it still was for me. Now I know. And, I wasn't going to let it ruin the rest of my evening. So we finished our dinner and our desserts, and we paid for everything. I went with my bag with my change of clothes into the ladies' toilet, took off the lovely dress I had on, threw on jeans and a tank top, and then we left. We caught a cab and we went to our next destination. I had no idea where we were going. I thought maybe there's a band in town. Maybe there's a gig going on. I love heavy metal. Not as much as my husband, not as much as my older son, but I really like it. And so, I figured, well, I'm pretty casually dressed. The only thing I can think is that maybe someone's playing that we know, like, because my husband has friends with a lot of musicians. So maybe there's someone local who's playing and we're going to check them out and that'll be cool. Right. And I wondered that as I noticed we were heading into Camden. And lo and behold, we stopped at the Underground, which is a famous, I think even a world famous venue for bands. And I'm like, oh, I wonder who we're going to see. And as we got to the sidewalk and he unfolded my wheelchair and we headed towards the front doors, I saw the sign and imagine my amazing surprise and delight when I saw that the headline act was a band called Exciter. These guys are amazing. They've been around since the early 80s. They're from Canada, so fellow Canadians, from Ottawa. And I'd seen them once before live in London at the King's Cross Inn, literally a month before COVID and lockdown hit. And my husband has seen them before as well. And he's friends with the bassist and stays in touch with them in general, and et cetera, et cetera. But it was exciting because I love these guys. I love seeing them live. And I thought, oh, this is amazing. So there was a sort of a mini festival going on that day. There had been a number of bands before these guys, but they were the headline act. And we managed to get there literally 5 minutes before they came out. And we ended up with a spot that was side stage because there was no other safe place to put the wheelchair so I could sit. So you sort of came in through a side entrance up to the stage. So if you're on the floor, I think maximum capacity is like 300 or 400 people, right? So if you're in front of the stage watching, I was immediately to the left, like just with a little guardrail right next to one of the big Marshall speakers. And I could have, if I wanted to, I could have leaned down and touched the pedals for the lead guitar player's amp, right? I didn't, of course. So it was myself in my chair. My husband was kind of behind me and to the side. Security was just in front of us. And then there was one other young lady who was there as well. She was great. She was checking, making sure I was okay for water. And she even got me some at one point, So I think she might have been part of the stage or security crew. But anyways, she was fantastic. And it was an amazing show. Best I've heard them live ever. I mean, from my experience seeing them live, as well as seeing them perform, somebody's video footage of seeing them live at different festivals, right? They sounded amazing. As it turned out, because I thought they had got us on the guest list. No. The guy who was promoting this mini festival, this particular guy, is friends with my husband, and I'd met him once before or twice before. He was the one who got us on the guest list. So the guys didn't know we were coming, And when they saw us to the side, they were given like fist bumps and thumbs up and horns. Well, okay, cool, right? They were excited to see us. And I ended up getting a drumstick from, because the lead singer is also the drummer, so he gave me a drumstick as a gift, and I got a bunch of guitar picks as a gift and a set list. And afterwards, I got hugs and happy birthdays, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And it's like, oh, we love you guys. So glad so glad to see you there. Didn't know you were coming. What a nice surprise. And yeah, great guys. So afterwards, we wanted to wait around, after the gig was done, I don't know, 11:30. I wanted to just say, hey, what a great show. Thanks so much. And for the pics and everything. And yeah, great to see you. Anyhow, as it worked out, we saw them briefly. I got birthday hugs and wishes. And then as we were outside in the back of the venue, they were getting ready to go. It was just after 12, and my husband announced, hey, it's after midnight, so now it's officially Megan's birthday. She is officially 50. All the guys and my husband sang me happy birthday, and that is somewhere on video on his Facebook feed. But for these guys to do that, just spontaneously start singing happy birthday to me, was like, wow, meant the world. Meant the world. And it was amazing. We eventually got a cab, got back to the hotel, slept, checked out by 11. And there was still more to come, because we left our bags with hotel security. We went up. We were actually just a short walk from the big mall in Stratford, which is Westfield. So there are some shopping centers or malls like you'd see in North America here, but not a lot of them. There's some, but there's not loads of them. So we were at Westfield, and we just sort of wandering around, ended up getting a really horrible cup of coffee from this one place. And then I was like, babe, I'm really starting to get hungry. It was getting close to 12. And he's like, oh, I'm not hungry yet. We sat for 10 minutes. And he's like, okay, now I'm hungry. And I just thought to myself, well, that's weird timing. And I noticed there was a Five Guys upstairs. And I thought, that would be a great place. I'm feeling like a burger right now. Burger patties would be great. And he's like, oh, that's perfect. Oh, okay. And as we get upstairs, out of the crowd, I hear, happy birthday. And it was a couple that we're good friends with who came down to surprise me on my birthday. And we had lunch together, and then we grabbed coffee after. And we got some great time because they'd been away on holiday. They came back on the Sunday and joined us on the Monday. So it was fantastic. I was super duper spoiled rotten. I got a really nice voicemail from my younger son, who is in Canada working at the moment. So there was a 5-hour time difference. We spoke briefly on my actual birthday until his Wi-Fi connection cut out, and then we couldn't. But he wished me a really happy birthday. And my older son, who I may or may not have mentioned in other videos, but he has autism, very high functioning, really works hard to be independent. But, there are some things that are kind of still challenging for him. But on his own, while my husband and I were away, he went out and bought me a birthday card and filled it out and presented it to me when we got back on the Monday. And then Tuesday, when he got up, he's like, Mom, would you like to have coffee with me, and I'll take you out for your birthday treat? And I was like, dude, that's amazing. So he bought me lunch, and he treated me to a nice Americano, and it's been amazing. So I have been spoiled rotten, and I wanted to share all of this because so much thought and effort went into encouraging me on my birthday. And, for the last couple of days, I was feeling kind of blech as the last of the sugar left my system. I was feeling kind of crummy. I just went back to black coffee and my usual carnivore food, ground beef, a little bit of bacon, some eggs, added in a bit more salt just to flush my system out. I'm feeling great. And I realized, you know what? I have never felt better than right now, truly. Not just because of trusting in God and not letting that guilt of trying something sweet ruin my day. It did kick me in the butt. Well, in the guts, to be fair. It made me feel a bit bloated, but mostly just nauseous and a bit achy. But more than anything, the brain fog was all of a sudden back, which had been almost completely gone since I went keto carnivore. And it just reminds me, like, wow, anybody who says that sugar is not addictive, or anybody who says it's not that big a deal, they don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. It amazed me. Other than yesterday, because I was took it the day off from my usual yoga, from my stretches, and I can do like modified planks, I can do modified push-ups, and I can do modified bridges, which I could never do before, ever, like at all. And it is actually helps me not only to feel awake and alive, but it actually helps minimize my lower back pain. I never ever thought I would reach that point. And here I am. So I wanted to share all this. I know it's a bit of a long one, but to be fair, there's a lot of great stuff that's happening with me, I wanted to share this because if you are at a point where maybe you're thinking, well, I'm over 50 and I have chronic pain and I'll never be able to get rid of it. Maybe you will, sometimes we need to go through our young lives before we can appreciate older life. And if I had figured all this out when I was 21, would it have prevented the challenges in my life? Maybe, probably. But would I have been ready to hear it? No, definitely not. I wasn't at that place. So I also know that everything happens according to God's timing. Everything happens for a reason, and it's according to His timing. And we can try to speed it up or make it fall into place as we would see fit, but it's up to Him, not us, right? At the end of the day, it's up to Him, not us. And I am grateful for the fibromyalgia and the IBS and the leaky gut and the anxiety and depression and the bulimia and the food addiction, in particular sugars and carbs. Why? Because if I had never had gone through any of that, I would not be able to appreciate healing now. Everything I've been through has prepared me for now. If I had not realized how much of my pain and inflammation I could reduce just by changing what I ate, I would never believe that, oh my goodness, I can actually do a bit of movement and resistance band work and strengthen my core and tighten my muscles because I need to be a certain size. No, because it helps build strength and it helps keep me healthy and it helps keep me strong as I get older, because I want to have at least another 50, 60 years. And you know what? My grandmother lived to be 102, and that was in spite of her poor health towards the end. I figure if I eat right, if I keep doing this and walking with God, who knows how long I'm going to have. It's going to be great though, Am I going to be out running? No, I'm not. Even if I didn't have back injury and poor knees and so forth, I still wouldn't run. It's too much impact. But you know what? I can get up and I can have energy and excitement and life once again. And for that, I'm so grateful. So listen, if you are not currently carnivore, but you're curious, or you think maybe it might work for you, you want to find, maybe you want a proper human diet, which could be, for you, could be animal proteins, including eggs with like yolks and whites if you can tolerate them. Fatty meats, could be fish, could be anything that can swim, fly, or walk on the ground is part of the carnivore diet, part of the proper human diet. Enjoy it. You know, if you like to have berries in season and have them where they're local and they're in season and you can tolerate them, enjoy. I can't, but there are those people out there who can. And if you can, fantastic. If you've discovered, like me, that anything sweet, especially the processed stuff, does you in, avoid it. You know, it's not worth it. Because I feel it's been 4 days since I ate it, and it's only today that my brain feels clear and alive. Other than that, forget it, you know. But this might help you. I never thought I'd be able to do a plank position or a push-up or yoga bridges, or even just standing, you know, that I don't know what the pose is called, the pose where you stand with your prayer hands, but you have one leg kind of bent and up to the side in a yoga pose. I can do that for 10 seconds. I never thought I'd be able to. This has helped. So might help you, you know, whether it's reconnecting with God, whether it is seeing how you might improve your flexibility, some of your mobility, reducing your pain. If you haven't tried it, it might help. I'm not a doctor, and I don't pretend to be at all. I don't even try to play one, but this could help you. This might help somebody you care about. I hope it does. Listen, if you like this, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't, and join our group. Let's be a community that supports each other. For those of you who have said before that you're about to start carnivore, you're going to try this, let me know how you're doing. I really want to know. I really want to hear how it's going. We can pray for each other. We can encourage each other. We can help support each other. That's the whole reason why I do this. So, love you guys loads. 50, man. I don't care what people say. 50 is the new 20 as far as I'm concerned. And it is a state of mind. And I feel fantastic in mind. So, love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following all the way to the end. It's a bit longer than I anticipated, but I just had a lot of great stuff I wanted to share. So, thank you all. I hope your days are encouraging. Let's, like I said, let's support each other. You guys support me incredibly, and I'm super appreciative. And yeah, share this with whoever you feel like. I'll see you guys in the next video sooner than later, hopefully. Bye for now. Take care.